Is it crash and burn, or is the fire just slowly going out? Welcome back to the We Run With It podcast. It is going to be Sunday afternoon, and I wanted to hop on real quick to expand upon what I talked about the last time, but add a different element to it, maybe contradict it a little bit. Last episode, I talked about how it took years to get to the point where I can finally put some good mileage on and get some good hours of training in simultaneously to where I don't feel beat up. And the funny thing is, like 2 days after, I am pretty smoked out. So I wanted to go back to something that I felt like I've been doing a lot better at this year, which is I used to be a total crash and burn person when it comes to training. In context, I would just go for months on end, and to the point where I just wasn't even enjoying training that much, to be honest. But I would just bury myself in it, and then I get to a point where for like a week or two, I was just like, I didn't even... I might have still, like, went to the gym for 20, 30 minutes or something, but, like, for a week I was just, like, completely out. Or I was, like, actually sick as hell for a whole week. Like, looking back, years ago, that used to happen every year. I'd have a point where I'd just get completely either mentally gonzo and my brain didn't want to think about work or working out, or like actually sick as hell. And so it doesn't happen often that I would take time off until the past, or I should say it didn't happen often that I would take time off unless I was like forced to from one of my crash and burns. But the past year and maybe a year or two, I feel like I've been doing a better job. Like I said, it helped that I was able to build all those years on the mileage and the hours in the gym, which I've always loved the gym, so easier for me to keep up with that. But it was more the combination of all the endurance and still hitting the gym the past few years. So what I feel like I've done better at, which is what I want to share, is this year I set baseline goals. Like I wanted to do an Ironman. I didn't really set a specific time for it because, like I've talked about before, I hated the bike, so I just wanted a certain time on the run. I wanted to do sub 110 and high rocks, like I've talked about before, which I did, and those, honestly, I do want to hit a big ultra at some point this year, but honestly, I don't know. I don't know if I'm going to get it in before 2026. I might wait, but I can't promise that. That was one of my other goals to hit, was get something bigger than a 50-mile race this year. But anyways, I set those, and then I trained, obviously, pretty specific. I trained for high rocks most of the year, to be honest. Like I did one in April too, but I wasn't really ready for that, or I knew my time wasn't gonna be the best on that one because I had done more running and not as much lifting for that one. But what I've done throughout the year is I've allowed, instead of how am I trying to say this? So like when I have 40 to 50 mile weeks, instead of following a specific program like I always do, which sounds crazy, right? But everybody's different, so I'm just telling you how it's worked for me this year and how it's worked better. Take it for what it is. Again, I always want to reiterate, I'm not a doctor, I'm not even a certified personal trainer. I'm just someone who's been doing it for a while. So what I've been doing is when I have 40-mile weeks, on the books because I want to build my base up instead of going off of like a marathon training program or the Ironman training program. While I'm working full time, I might have days at work where I beat myself up pretty good at work, and then I've had plenty of times in the past where a 14-mile run falls on that day, or a 16 or even a 20 at night. And I changed that up this year. So now I don't necessarily follow a program. I go off of which takes time to build confidence and trust in yourself to still hit the mileage without following something. So that's why I say do what works for you. I think in the beginning it's obviously especially good to follow something for a long time, or follow a couple different things, see what works for you, and then do your thing. However, that's what's worked for me this year. So instead of hitting that 14-mile training run on the day where I had a 10-hour, 12-hour day at work and I'm toasted from physically working, I would do some push-ups and pull-ups and go on a 4-mile run or a 5-mile run. And then I'd save my 14 until Thursday or until Saturday or whatever. And then what I've also been doing a lot this year, or I wouldn't say a lot, but what I did for a decent amount of time over the summer was I would just hit like 3 miles in the morning. So if I had an 8-mile run scheduled that day, or even an 11, whatever, I would get 3 miles out in the morning as like a warm-up for the day. And then I love doing push-ups and pull-ups in the morning. I don't like, for anybody else out there, I used to love going to CrossFit at 5 a.m. and crushing morning workouts. Now I like just, I don't know. I think it's maybe I'm in my 30s now, or I'm just going through a little girly phase or something, or a little whatever you want to call it phase. But I like just jogging in the morning and hitting some push-ups and pull-ups is what I'm saying. But I say all this to say, or to put out there, do what you can sustain over long periods of time so that your candle just slowly burns, right? If the candle slowly burns the whole time, then obviously when it gets to the bottom, it might get bright right before it burns out. And then what do? You replace it with a new candlestick. That's life. Like, if you just keep going, letting it burn, chipping away at your miles, chipping away at your hours in the gym, chipping away at your strength, getting recovery in, getting your diet dialed in, you're just slowly burning. You might have a good spark at the end where you have a good, whatever that is in reference to your marathon day. You have a good marathon day. And then you're back to like slowly burning again. You're like, oh man, I really sparked, but now I'm back to like kind of like baseline. It's like that's how the majority of training goes. Like, obviously there's huge fluctuations at certain points in life. I had times where I just feel like absolute crap and times where I feel absolutely good. But for the most part, if you're going to train for years and years on end, like, you're going to have, most of your days are just going to feel decent to, you're probably honestly going to feel a little bit tired, obviously, compared to really, really good or really in the dumps. You know what I mean? Like, those are two extremes. You're 80 to 90% is going to be in between. I feel all right. I feel pretty good. And then you have days where it's like, holy crap, I can let it rip. And days where it's like, oh my God, I feel like I can't even walk 2 miles. Never mind, get a running. So I just wanted to put this episode out there. The crash and burn, or is the candle just slowly dwindling down? Because the crash and burn, I mean, don't get me wrong, I'm not saying never do it. It's life. Like, I start the podcast because I like giving people, or I like putting out my perspective, because I feel like I'm a little bit crazy, obviously. And and I like putting it out there so people that maybe don't think the way I do can be like, oh, that helps or whatever. And I also like getting feedback from people. And I think listening to podcasts, I've been listening to podcasts for, like guys like Andy Frisella, Ed Milet, those guys for years and years, probably since 2012, 13, whenever they started. Gary V. And honestly, at this point, I've listened to a lot. I've done a decent amount to the point where I like to put certain things out there where it's like I struggled with years ago, and here it is so other people can hear it. I hope the crash and burn or the slowly dwindling down helps. Again, to finish what I was saying, the crash and burn, it's not like I never go back to that. I have moments where I'm like, all right, I'm going to train really, really hard, knowing that I'm going to be tired and knowing that it's going to be a struggle so that I can get a certain outcome, and then dial back again. I'm more just saying, like, as the long run, I don't just go months and months on end with no clear goal or no clear reason of just other than dogging it out every day. It's like it's helped me to move my runs around based on how I feel, especially now that I'm in my 30s. It's helped even lifting in the gym. Like, say I have a max effort squat that day and I'm just freaking drained or whatever, work was tough. It's like I'm just gonna hit a 5x3 at freaking 80% or something like that. It's like once you get to the point where you can where you know how you are and you're not just being a baby about it. You're not just like, hey, I don't want to get it done. You're like physically and mentally fried. I'm not telling you to not do anything because that also wouldn't help your mindset. But just some days going through the motions is the best you got, And then there are very few days, but there are days where I walk in the gym. There's probably, I bet, 3 or 4 days a year where I walk in the gym. I'm absolutely smoked from whatever's going on. I do some band work. I do some foam rolling. Maybe a couple pull-ups and push-ups. And then I get the hell out of there because I'm like, dude, I'm just like, go on a hike. Go take the dog on a walk. Go mountain bike. Like, sometimes it's not even the physical, like you're physically cooked or whatever you want to call it. Sometimes it's a combination of the both. And it's like, I think, I'm going to screw this up. And I don't feel like stopping this to look it up. But I think it was in the 70s. Somebody broke the marathon record. I want to say the marathon record in the Olympics. I'm going to look this up and fact check myself on the next podcast. And I'll update, but his coach sent him to I forget where it was, but essentially just to go hiking for 10 days before. So he didn't run hard because he knew he couldn't get him to stop running, and he kept getting injured. But he was in really good shape. But then he was at peak performance, but he would keep getting injured. So he knew that taking the time off his legs and just having him walk it out and stay loose and just being in nature was going to help him. And then he ended up like breaking the record or running the fastest. And like, to me, that's what helps me. Like, every once in a while I need to just like take the dog, go on a hike. I need to grab the mountain bike, go for a ride. I need to go sit in a kayak, whatever, maybe go skydiving if that's your thing. If you're on the beach, go surfing, like if you have a gym where you can work out outside, maybe get a little outdoor workout in. But like, sometimes it's just a frame of mind when you're walking into the gym for the 6th time that week, and it's like, especially if it's nice out, for me, I'm like, I'm good. So I would say, unless you're trying to be the Michael Jordan of something, don't cut yourself slack. But just recognize when it's total burnout or you're getting there, and the difference. I guess separate the two voices of, am I just a little tired today, or is this like, am I getting to the point where I'm like completely tanked and I'm actually gonna get sick? Because I keep using the word burnout, which I don't really like that much, because it's not like you never. It takes a lot to fully burn yourself out completely, but I've definitely been close, and I'm sure you have too. So, hope this episode does you well, and get out there, get some movement in, and just remember, like, give it your all. That's what I'm all about. I'm gonna go on another little tangent here. That's what I'm all about. Give it your all. Like, but at the same time, I think people need to hear this more, especially nowadays, especially with social media, is like, why are you doing it? Like, if your only reason to run is so that you can run faster, I'm not saying that's wrong. We've all been there. But like, why? You know? And I'm not saying you gotta figure it out today or tomorrow. If your goal is to deadlift 800 pounds, like, why? Don't get me wrong, that's sick. I probably could never do that as much as I tried. This is dope as hell. But just, if you, like, to me, I stay in shape and I do these things and I get the endurance that I do mixed with, like, the weightlifting and high roxy workouts, so that I can pretty much go into anything in life and do it with ease, you know? Or maybe not necessarily with ease, but if someone asked me to go on a 15-mile hike tomorrow in the mountains of Colorado, I could do it. If somebody asked me to do some extreme kayak or whatever, I could probably do it. If somebody asked me to come do a CrossFit style workout with them, that's nothing crazy, but just like come to the gym and do a partner workout with them, I could do it. You know, it's like, and there's people that are in way better shape and way stronger than me. I am not saying by any means I'm a top-notch athlete. What I'm saying is, like, I train so that I can go out and have all these experiences, and I'm not limited. Like, someone who's never ran more than 2 miles in their life or whatever, if you ask them to go on a steep 10-mile hike tomorrow, they're going to have to think about it, not because of the time it's going to take or they have shit going on, because they actually don't know if they can do it. If you ask them to go on a swim and then a kayak or whatever, they don't know because they've never done it. Or a mountain bike ride or whatever, you know? Or like when I'm snowboarding this winter, like, am I going to be in shape for it? When I fall and eat shit, am I going to crack in half because I haven't done mobility or whatever? You know, it's like, we do these things so we can have experiences. And yes, in turn, I enjoy training hard and I enjoy pushing myself to see what I'm capable of. Obviously, I think that's part of life, is we like to grow. And I'll finish with, if you like to grow, that's good, but also go experience the fucking world, you know? Excuse my language. I see it a lot where people are just grinding, and I love the grind, you know what I mean? Like, up until 2 years ago, I didn't really have a shut off till whatever the hell else is out there in life. And then I had met certain people that slowed me down and experienced some cool vacations, some cool spots, and got different perspectives on life. And it's like, that's what kind of solidified We Run With It, what I'm doing. I'm like, I want more people to, like, work hard, but, like, realize why they're working hard, and then on their time off from their actual job or their training or whatever, it's like, go do shit, go experience stuff, go have fun, go try something you never tried before, because you train hard, you made some money this week, whatever, you know what I mean? Like, you trained hard so you can now go do some crazy race in the mountains somewhere that you never thought you could do. Or you trained hard so you're going to go take a trip and backpack across the Swiss Alps. I don't know. I'm just making shit up now. But that's my motto, or that's the message I'm putting out, is don't just train to train, you know? Leave that for the again, if you're a professional athlete, you're probably not listening to this anyway. But like, unless you're getting paid, or your goal is to get paid to train, and that's your only goal in life, and that's what you want to do, and that's what you love doing, then obviously that's what you hammer down on. I'm not saying that. But this is for the 98 to 99% of other people who are working hard at their day jobs and then training and doing that stuff too. It's like, don't just beat yourself into oblivion. Do something with it. All right, that's it. That's what I got for you. So go run with it. Go have fun with it. And yeah, don't let the fire completely burn out. Keep that thing going. Keep that thing stoked. Keep putting the wood on, piece by piece. All right. Peace out, everybody.